I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Paul Cassidy.
Here.
Tanya Hogan. Here. Jerry Galka.
Here.
John DeBoyer.
I'm here.
Mark Burchard.
Here.
Maureen Bory. Here. Brian Campbell, absent, excused.
All right, we'll go to bills payable.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
could I request a moment of silence for John Horvath, who was a trustee with the Township Board and a longtime Township resident? He passed away on the 14th of March. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm
sorry, go ahead, Maureen.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to remove 1L, the appointment of Dennis Szymanski to the ZBA.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Did you want discussion?
Yes, so, I'm sorry, not discussion on that. So I would like to amend the agenda. In light of our last meeting conversation that took place and some things that came to light, I have some questions and would like some explanations on some things. So I would like to amend the agenda to make agenda item number 1O, to discuss the Clay Township OHM contract that went into agreement.
I'll second.
We'll do a roll call. Any discussion? Roll call.
That's something we can discuss amongst ourselves, I believe, but, we could,
John DeBoyer.
Yes?
Maureen Bory.
no.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Paul Cassidy.
No.
Jerry Galka.
No.
Brian Campbell's not here. Tanya Hogan, yes.
The motion fails.
So that's really interesting. This whole board's been called, emailed, texted. We have articles being written in the newspaper about all this stuff going on, and we can't even discuss it?
Yeah.
We can't even discuss it?
Yes, we can discuss
And get answers?
You know what? This isn't going to be your inquisition the way you like to run
Excuse me,
things,
sir.
Okay?
Excuse me, sir. I'm one of 7 members on this board with absolute equal authority, okay?
And absolutely.
You chair a meeting, but you don't have authority over me to tell me what I can say and can't say.
I'm not.
Then please
I'm
don't.
not here to
Don't tell me
discuss
how it's going to be run and that I'm running the meeting. I've made an official request.
it. And it was denied.
And I made a statement. Can I not
Now, you wanna
have
make a
discussion?
statement?
Can I not have discussion?
I think it was discussed and it was voted upon.
So this board doesn't have a problem with not explaining what blew up at our last board meeting?
Well, I think we should have some meetings beforehand.
We don't owe these people an answer?
John, all you do, because you've done it with me, you come up there and you say, hey, let's talk about this, and nobody has anything in front of them, but you have it. You went on one of mine to my
What do we need
deputy
in front of us?
when you asked for a
Do
ledger.
you guys understand that we work for these people?
But you guys
Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor. Don't accuse me of grandstanding.
Well, you are.
Then I'm going to accuse you guys of hiding things,
Well, you do
like you
anyway.
ran in your
You do
campaign
it
on.
anyway.
Well, because you
You
do.
do it anyway.
Because you do.
John, let's hear on the water authority. You never say a meeting.
Let's not get
say
off
the meeting
target,
here
Jerry.
on the
We
water
have all the
authority.
answers.
Never talk.
We have-
Never
I'm sorry.
talk about it.
What are you talking about?
The water authority
I
that
have no
you're
idea
on.
what you're talking about. What water authority, Jerry?
South Water Municipal Authority.
Yeah.
That's not a water authority. That's a sewage treatment
Well,
plant.
it's a sewage treatment
Oh,
plant.
the same, water sewer, right? You don't even know what
Let's
you're
not-
talking about.
Please,
Well,
let's
you know what I mean,
Look at the
John?
grandstand.
You just got a grandstand.
Come on, I'm done grandstanding. Let's move on.
We have all the
We
answers.
have your permission to move on, Mr. DeBoyer?
I don't know, do we?
Do we have your permission?
Do we? You can't answer any questions.
No one said that.
Well, then why aren't we discussing? Why did you guys vote to shut it down?
Why wouldn't you come up ahead of time, come up into the offices and say, look, I'd like to get some information on this?
Because this is our board meeting where we discuss issues for the public.
Right, and why didn't you come an hour before and say, hey, I'm putting this on the agenda so we can have information to be able to talk about it? I'm sure you
I
have
have no
your
secret information. Well, I think we all have information.
There's nothing secret, but we have to be able to be
Well, I'd like
prepared
to make a
to
motion
give you
that
everything.
that we establish a
As a-
special meeting concerning John DeBoer's issues, and any date you want. Special meeting, I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second it.
I don't think we need a special meeting.
I don't either, but we can do it at the next meeting.
We will speak
Well, if
amongst
we can't get anything
ourselves.
done here, let's have a special
We
meeting.
will speak amongst,
Why can't we talk about it tonight? Why
When
can't we talk
everybody
about this
can
tonight?
know exactly what John DeBoyer needs to know.
No, you know what? You know what, Paul?
we'll
Well,
share.
wait,
Paul.
one thing I'm going to say right now, any disruption from the crowd, and you will be removed.
Let me know when you get this act together.
You understand, ma'am? You open your mouth again, and you will be removed.
Okay, we are a board of trustees for Clay Township. We are supposed to be conducting business in favor of Clay Township, and right now, this is just getting out of hand. We are supposed to be showing the township that they can rely on us to make decisions in their best interest, and right now, that is not happening, and that is the big issue. We need to let the people know what is going on.
We will provide all the information, and you can share whatever you need at the next meeting.
I have nothing to share. I have questions.
Well, we will give you,
That's all I have is questions.
Paul will answer all of your questions. He said he would.
I'll meet with you anytime.
No, I don't wanna
And then we
meet with
can
you.
bring it out at the board meeting.
Right now.
We're here.
Well, we can do it then.
Well, I still have a motion on the board. We're gonna approve it or not, yes or no? We gotta call roll or not?
Can you
A
repeat your
motion to-
motion, Mark? I wasn't unable to hear you. Was it a motion to hold a special meeting?
To form a special meeting concerning the, what's it?
The OHM contract.
I'd prefer just handle it at the next
Yeah,
meeting.
why have a special meeting? I disagree with that.
I don't want to have a special meeting. We don't need to bring us all
Just bring it
together
up, we'll
again.
make it a point to make it an agenda item at the next meeting.
All right.
Mr. DeBoyer, I'd
Are-
appreciate it if you and I could sit down and you could go over some of the things that you need so I can make sure that you have them.
Mark, are you withdrawing your
I
motion?
withdraw the motion.
Okay.
So we have bills payable still, right?
I'll make a motion to approve bills payable in the amount of $135,000, $373.49
Support.
for $14.25.
Roll call.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Galka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
All right, we'll move to Supervisor's report. I'll try to bring people up to date on some of the projects we've got going.
Talk close to the
We
mic.
have a water line repair job that has to be done. We estimate that it will be about an $8 million expense to the township. We also have a sewer diameter repair work that has to be done, and that's $3.6 million. And the township, there is not grant money available for these sorts of things. We have to assess what we have to do here. I've talked to Miller Canfield. They've explained that we have the option of doing a revenue bond, which would apply to every person in the township, regardless whether it would impact them or not. For example, a revenue bond on a sewer repair work on the mainland would still be paid by people that are citizens on Harson's Island or outside, even on septic. The other way of doing it would be a special assessment district. We're looking into it. We have a company called Waterworks that helps to do some planning on charging items, these jobs, and we're going to spend some time with them to try to calculate out what the ultimate cost would be to the township and how we can float bonds if we have to float bonds. We also have the septic plant or the sewer plant on Harson's Island that was initially proposed to cost $2 million. That was going to be a turnkey operation. It was going to open last November. As you can see, it's not open, and we now find out, subsequent to that, that we need another $2.4 million to complete it, and now we found out we need another $2.2 million. The whole system would cost $6.6 million. That would mean it would only service 14 businesses or homes at an average cost of $471,000 per building. When I took this position, I met with our engineer because I could see that this project was just a project where keep sending us money, we'll spend it and hopefully get something in the end. I talked to Mr. Monty and he gave me, these are his numbers, 6.6 million. I told him to stop work on the project, that I just couldn't in any way in my mind think it prudent to spend 6.6 million to hook up 14 places. It just doesn't make sense. There is a problem. There is a huge waste treatment problem on the island in the downtown area. We're going to have to try to explore some other remedy. But that's the situation with those. And perhaps if someone would have spent $150,000 on a feasibility study, they would have realized that that was not feasible to do it for $2 million, and it was never going to work. So I think that that's going to be put aside unless there's some other solution. I know there's a pending appropriation request in Congress right now for the $2.4 million. I don't know that it'll get out of committee, and already we need another $2.2 million. So I guess in my mind that's kind of a disaster the way it worked out. But we do want to, as best we can, do something to fix the problem in downtown St. Souci. I think that's about it. All right, we have public comments.
My name is Pam, and I've been yielded an additional 3 minutes by Frank, so I will be
No, you
speaking...
don't get willed any additional minutes, ma'am.
Well,
You get
actually,
3
I got
million.
that from you.
You
I
get
saw
3
that you did
minutes,
it.
and that's it. No,
You
I've
yielded.
never done that.
Yes, you did. Which
No.
you want me to get my phone and show you what time it was and whatever at the January minutes?
It's going to be 3 minutes.
We put it
Yeah,
on
okay,
the-
whatever.
it's on the
So,
flyer, saying that
So I will
you
be
can't
speaking
fix it
for
in
6 minutes. So, I request that the agenda be amended to include a discussion on the improper transfer of ARPA funds and the validity of the OHM feasibility study contract. Since this
Ma'am,
issue
that issue
directly
is not
impacts...
an agenda item.
This
Please
is my
have a
bloody
seat.
3 minutes.
Please have a seat. You're talking about something that's not on the agenda. At the end of the meeting, you can
Which
speak
is
about
what
it.
I'm trying to say, that I'd like for the agenda to be
That's
amended.
a
That
way
is-
of trying to get it over again and say it all over. You can talk at the end of the meeting, ma'am. At
No,
the end,
this
you
is
have
now
3
for an
minutes.
agenda, you know,
If
I know you
don't
like
sit
to
down
deal
now, you
outside of the
have
board,
to have
but
your
we're in the board, and it is something that can't be done. If you would allow me to say my 3 minutes, please, because I am
Not
asking.
only on an agenda item, ma'am.
That's right, also that you can to amend an agenda, is what I'm trying to make a motion to amend to the
If you
agenda.
don't sit
So
down
if you
now,
would be
I'm
so
going to
kind
have
as
you
to let me
removed.
have my 3 minutes. I can't wait until we can remove you. Here, this is my plan, if you want to pass it along to people who don't listen to what needs to be listened to.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tom Soulier, and I live at 9634 Lake Point. Regarding the agenda for Sherry Lawton, assessor, resignation, and Bonnie Campbell, promotion to assessor, I've had the privilege of serving on the Clay Township's Board of Review for about a decade. The Board of Review is made up of caring community members representing taxpayers. We have been lucky to have both Sherry and Bonnie to cooperate with their excellent expertise in their field and knowledge of our amazing geographical market. We are definitely the apples to oranges market made up of several such a variety pack of taxpayers. Congratulations to Sherry in her new state position, and I look forward to working with Bonnie taking over as the assessor. Switching hats, as a community realtor, I will brag how realtors benefit from Sherry and Bonnie's assistance in being able to answer questions, verify data, and resolve dilemmas. Thank you, Sherry and Bonnie.
Brian Klingenberg, 9032 Field Road. I have over 100 pigs, 15 feet from the side of my house. The smell is horrendous. It's nauseous. The noise is horrible. I can't have people to my house. This whole township has failed to do anything about it. It's time. Today's the day. You can see the pictures. In the pictures, there's probably 50 more pigs than you see in this picture, at least. The ground cover that Mr. Burchard said would grow back is gone. The pigs ate everything to the ground. I have no protection from the dust, the noise. It's all gone. I would expect the township to do everything in their power to get this taken care of and resolved. These properties were planted out not to be agricultural. When I bought in there, it was going to be residential. I see pictures where there was going to be houses around ponds over there, not pigs, cows, and animals. So it's just out of hand. I don't know what to say. And I dropped off the other paper, all the health concerns that go along with pigs being directly in somebody's backyard. That's all I got.
I'm not completely sure what item 1G is for in the lawsuit that Clay Township, I haven't heard any talk about a lawsuit that specifically Clay Township is going after a business in the township. What I would ask is based on, if my information's incorrect, I'm sorry, but based on Ms. Borey's previous personal relationship with the owner of that company, I would ask that you abstain from voting as it relates to that company.
All right, we'll move on to reports, the payroll, March 2025. We have a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the reports payroll March 2025. Board approved checks 3/10/25, the in-between meeting checks from 3/13/25 to 4/10/25, the meeting minutes from the special meeting on 3/6/25, the meeting minutes of the board meeting on 3/10/25, and the resignation of our great assessor, Sherry Lawton.
Support.
All right, roll call.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Galka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
All right, I think I should add, Ms. Lawton got a great advancement with the state of Michigan, and we're all very happy for her. We're sorry to see her leave. She has been an outstanding assessor over the years when I've dealt with her. She's always been very good. So we wish her the best of luck.
She will be missed.
We have a fire chief report? Chief?
Good evening. Fire Chief's report for March. During the month of March, I attended 3 meetings, and that was the St. Clair Flats Association, St. Clair County Chiefs Association, and also the St. Clair County Med Control. General business was discussed on all 3. We'll be getting Fireboat 1 and Fireboat 2 out of winter storage, and we'll be launching them shortly. I just wanted to remind our residents that the water's still cold out there. If you go out for a boat ride, let people know where you're going and when you're going to get back, and wear proper clothes and a life jacket because you want to be safe. Fire department training for the month, fire academy training. We had 20 hours for the month of March, 13 hours of medical training, and then 13.5 crew training.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
I have a question, part of your, not part of your report, but water temperature and hypothermia. What's the temperature variation where you're more likely to get?
It can be 70 degrees and you can get hypothermia. It depends on how long you're.
I know, but there's usually the rule of thumb, 56 degrees or 58, forget what it was. I know you can get hypothermia
Right.
anyways, depending on the individual.
Right, that too, but.
The length of time in the water. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I don't think we have any unfinished business. We'll move on to new business. 1A, promote B. Campbell to assessor.
I will make a promotion to promote Bonnie Campbell to the assessing position.
Support.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Ms. Campbell.
Yay, Bonnie.
We have 1B, building new hire, part-time building assistant clerk, Olivia Solomon.
I am going to make a motion to hire Olivia Solomon as our part-time building assistant clerk.
Support.
Any discussion?
Do we have an official letter from Cindy Babish announcing that she will be leaving? I'd like to have a letter. I don't want to have 3
Okay.
people in that department. So I move to approve this at the next meeting after we have an official letter from Cindy Babish that she is leaving.
I do have a letter in my office that I can show you after the meeting, but we've already been putting this agenda item off for some time. And Amber, she really needs to get in there to be trained while we still have Cindy, because Cindy leaves at the 1st of June.
Cindy's been working in my department for a while. We got Anita on vacation.
I just haven't seen a letter.
Cindy Babbage.
I mean, I know, we got a letter of resignation from Sherry, so I have no problem promoting Bonnie, but I don't see a letter of resignation.
Did you say you got one?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have all her paperwork started
Okay.
and everything in my office, and I'd be more than happy to show you that. I just really hope we can move forward with this hire today, because it's really important to get.
Maybe just adjust your motion, Tanya, on the condition of Cindy retiring.
Okay. I adjust my motion for Olivia Solomon to be hired as a part-time building assistant clerk, as Cindy Babish is retiring, on the fact that we can prove that.
I support that also.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
So when would she take over? When would we bring her in?
We would like to bring her in right away to start training.
Is Olivia here? Yes. Come on down, if you don't mind. So we can all meet you anyways?
Hi.
You ready for this job?
Yes, I am ready.
She's been waiting.
Yes.
Energetic? All right.
Have you worked in another building department?
I have not, no. This will be my first. I'm I'm 20 years old, and I've worked since I was 14 years old, so I'm ready to find a career.
I mean, it's a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
I have full faith and trust in Tanya picked the right person for her office. She falls under your jurisdiction, correct?
Yes, she
So
does.
I'm going to trust that.
Yes.
You're making
Amber and
the
I
right
both,
decision.
Amber and I interviewed her together, and we interviewed quite a few people, and we both agreed. Olivia actually bought her own house and pulled all the permits and redid it herself, so she is familiar with procedures in the building department.
Good.
Good. Good.
All right.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
let's
I think we
take
got
a
to vote
vote.
still.
Let's take a vote.
I certainly hope at this point it's congratulations.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have procedures for an ordinance enforcement. Roman, come on up.
Good evening. There are 3 items I would like to discuss tonight. Out of the 3 items, only the procedures for the ordinance enforcement for Clay Township will be seeking approval to be adopted this evening. The new complaint form, checklist for anti-blight and zoning, and the blight violation permit do not need to be board approved. Paul and I reviewed these 2 items, and we had approved them on 3/18 of '25 and started to using them and putting it on our website. The building department and code compliance wanted to introduce this to the board and to also the community. One is the procedure for ordinance enforcement for Clay Township. Since I've been here for over 2 years now, I have not been able to find a procedure documented on file that has been put into place for Clay Township. For over a year of evaluation and research from other townships, speaking with our legal team, and going to MTA training and classes, I believe we have a robust procedure for the Township Board to consider. The procedures you have in front of you were evaluated by our legal team and was stated that the procedure is 100% legal to do. I believe having this procedure document in place will help us currently and in the future for the code compliance and zoning officers. My request is to have the board review and adopt this procedure. Second is the new complaint form, checklist for anti-blight and zoning. After using and reviewing our current complaint form for some time, I've implemented a new complaint form. I believe the old complaint form was useful, but I believe enhancing and adding to this new complaint form will help our departments in a couple of ways. First, this will help the efficiency directed towards the administrative work, and second, help the community in efforts to educate by making sure complaints have more validity about possible violations to a property in question. Third is the blight violation permit application for automobile and watercraft restoration. When reviewing our blight ordinance, 133, Section 3A, storage of junk, motor vehicles, and B, boat hulls, boat cradles, and boathouses. If you will please read the highlighted area and what was stated in this ordinance, I want to inform the board that currently we do not have this permit in place with our department or BSNA system to accommodate the ordinance and property owners' possible request. I would like to address to the board, I've implemented a permit that may allow the property owner to request in writing to the code compliance officer, which then the code compliance officer will give to the township board to review and possibly issue a 1-year permit to complete the restoration if the board approves of it.
There's a lot of other items here, not just the cars and the boats. So are we giving permission for building materials, junk, trash, and rubbish, damaged or unused all these things?
No.
No.
I'm confused.
That's why when I had sent this out, I had highlighted the area.
Didn't you say the form does not need approval when you started your?
Correct.
Okay.
But that does not need approval. I just wanted to introduce it to the board that we did not have anything in place. So now the permit
That's just
is in
the complaint
place.
form, okay.
But yet again, it does have to go in front of the board to get that approval. It's not done by me. It's their request from the property owner.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so it's page 5 you're looking at.
I think
Correct.
Roman spent some time on this. I've gone over it with him. He's done a good job.
Have you entertained any fees with this permit?
That's not up to me to decide on that. I think that would have to probably be board thought about, if,
Would you have any recommendations?
most definitely, I think with administration work-wise, I don't know what our permits for the building and things like that cost, but maybe $10, $15, for a year.
Maybe a budget time, that's something we could sit down and talk
Just
about.
something we can, personally, I think that we should have a nominal amount, $5, that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, something.
And then also, I think we should entertain at some point as a board, a business permit. And the only reason for that, in my opinion, and again, it can be a nominal amount, is that businesses would register, and how that would help us is that we've had to deal with some instances where people have a non-conforming use, quit using it for a number of years, and then all of a sudden it's up and running again. And you can't legally do that. After a year, the non-conforming use is no longer valid, but we don't know that it's going on. And if they had to get a business permit, then we would know, look, it's over a year, you can't run that business there anymore, or you can run that business.
And
But I think business people should have a understanding of what they can do and what they can't do, and it by no means should be a money-making
Right.
issue for us.
And currently, since I've been here, nobody has requested that. But starting to review our ordinances with our zoning, blight ordinance, things like that, I've been trying to write things down on how we can improve them, better verbiage, things like that. And that's one thing that caught my attention is that's something we do not have. So I just wanted to make sure we had that in order, just in case somebody did bring that to our attention.
So 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to go out and police after the 1 year? Are you going to have some kind of organizational?
Well, if you
Tickle
look at
file?
the permit that was given to you in that it has a date issued and also expiration date, which when we run a report, I run a report weekly for updates. We can set it in BS&A to categorize that date. We need to review and see where that property's at. And also, we can reach out to the property owner when that permit is close to expiring. So we do have something that we can work prior to 2-week notice, give a phone call, how are we looking on it, but also visibly go check on the property.
That 1 year is already in an ordinance, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's nothing new.
And what happens to them if they don't?
Then they would have to remove it or store it in an enclosed building or shielded from public roads or neighboring properties.
Or we have to engage in a
Right.
court case?
It all depends on the procedure being adopted today. So if we had a first notice and they asked for that request, it would have to be the final notice then, because it goes first notice, final notice, legal notice, citation to district court, and then it would go to circuit court for injunction relief.
Now, Roman, are you making any difference between the front yard setback and the rear yard setback on the storage of these vehicles or boats?
So, yet again, most cars that are in violation are either removed. Nobody's ever come to me with this aspect of the permit, if that's what you're asking. If you're asking setback-wise,
Well, if they're in the backyard
Mm-hmm.
and they have a vehicle, you're going to, you know.
it all
there's a lot of
depends.
vehicles that are boats
It
that
all
are stored in the
depends.
backyard.
It would depend on the complaint, and if the neighbor sees it, then it would be a violation of our blight ordinance.
As long as they're tagged and licensed, I mean, insured,
operable.
then that's not.
And
yeah.
operable, yeah.
So now they don't have, with this ordinance, they wouldn't have to have a tab.
It would give
or-
them some time if they were looking to restore it. Yet, it has to be classic and antique. If you look at the permit, it has to meet these specifications because that's what our ordinance states. It has to be classic, which would be minimum of 20 years, or antique of 45 years. And I had called the DMV to find out what that criteria had meant.
So, I mean, are we supposed to vote on all this at once? I'm a little bit uncomfortable with,
The only thing that needs to be voted on is the procedure for enforcement. The other two have been implemented already. I'm just making the board aware that it has been, we have documents now to suffice that ordinance.
Someone having to sign this, allowing us to come on their property seems,
Not, it would be the
Worrisome to
person that
me.
would be making the complaint. What that does is, we have documentation, because when I make a phone call to somebody that is making the complaint, that's one of the things I have to see. If I cannot see it from the road, there may not be a violation. But with what our ordinance states, if a neighboring property can see it, I would have to get approval from that person that is making the complaint. So it is going to be properly documented now that we can enter the property.
I have a problem with that.
I don't know.
I don't want, personally, I wouldn't want people on my
You got
property.
consent.
If you call me,
Correct.
I would be there to escort you, but I don't want you all around my yard.
Well, you do not have to sign it.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Well,
an
then
option,
nothing
you know.
happens. Then it's not going to be enforced.
Correct.
All right, we have a motion to adopt the procedures for ordinance enforcement.
Support.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have 1D, Michigan Fire Training Consultant Pump Operator Class, $1,800. GL 209-100-960-00. Fire Training Pump Class. Hi, Chief.
Yeah, I'm requesting permission from the board to host this class. It's a 2-day class, 8 hours a day. First day is classroom, second day is practical. The guys will go out and they'll pump and draft with the fire trucks. It will help educate the pump operator in basic plumbing and pumping, hydraulics, and water supply issues if they occur. By certifying our firefighters to this level, it'll help us when we have our ISO rating, that we have certified pump operators in the fire department, so that'll help us out. Like I said, the class is $1,800.
Where's the class going to be held at?
Here in the township.
So would this just be Clay Township firefighters?
Right, we want to get our guys certified.
Rescue department?
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, did that new pumper come in yet?
No, it did not. It won't be here until next month.
Next month, okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the 16-hour class at the cost of $1,800 for 17 firefighters, coming out of line item 206-000-960-00.
I'll second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Police Department Records Management, Chief, could you enlighten us on that?
Yeah, he gave us a stack of paperwork here about it.
Yeah, I've reviewed it all with you.
I did upload it into the board packet.
Okay, as you see in your packet in front of you, this is something that, it's kind of where hands kind of getting forced right now, but I've known this is something that's been coming for probably about the last 10 years. We knew we'd eventually get here. Last time we replaced our system with records management was almost 10 years ago, same time that all of St. Clair County went to Clemens. Reason we didn't go to it back then is because at that point, we had replaced our system along with the everything mechanical that went with it. So it would not have been fiduciary responsible in order to go forward with it. So at that point, we stayed with where we were. The problem we have right now is a lot of our equipment and that is getting end of life, so it's going to have to be replaced. Plus the RMS vendor and CAD vendor that we use right now for our dispatch and for our records management, the owner of the company died here probably about 5 months ago back. And since then, the level of service has really gone downhill, and it's going down further and further as we keep progressing, right down to phone calls not being returned, issues not being taken care of. So the writing's on the wall. What we're looking to do now is to go through and upgrade this system, and this will put us streamlined with the rest of the county, as well as being able to communicate with the rest of the county through the system. That right there is replacing both of our CAD, which is the computer-aided dispatch, along with our records management system. Everything that we use to process any of our daily paperwork or communications from within dispatch and the entire department, allowing us to also communicate with the courts and with the prosecutor's office. So we're kind of forced into this right now. This is something we've foreseen coming, and we have put away for this. So we do have the funds there in our fund balance, knowing this was coming. It's just when was going to come. And I think we're at the point right now, we need to do something before it's too late. Right down to our reporting to the state, which is mandatory, they have not been doing, and they can't give me the answers on it. Luckily, the state's working with us on that, taking care of it. I told we have something in progress right now to where we are taking the necessary steps to take care of the problem. So, but that's why I'm here in front of you today.
You record all reports from all the areas that you're responsible for? Ira
Yes.
Township?
Yep.
And all that?
And that's another thing right there. I have talked to Ira, and they asked me to get back to them after I went to our board to go forward. I've asked them to throw in $50,000 on this, and I feel pretty comfortable that they're going to help out, so.
What about any other communities going up to Cutlerville and Marine City?
No, we have nothing to do with them.
What do they, I know, but what do they have up there?
Same
What do they
system.
have? I'm trying to consolidate and get some costs if we have the same unit.
No, there's no consolidating this. We can't consolidate. Every department out there has their own records management system. They all pay for this service as well through the same company that we're looking to go through right now. No matter which department that it is throughout St. Clair County, Macomb County, Oakland County, any of them, they all have their own service. You cannot combine that.
So do all the departments, Chief, in St. Clair County use this Clemis?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So is this something you want to do in this current budget year, or is this something you want to do in the new budget year?
New budget year, but I'd like to I need to get the ball rolling now, but it'd be something that the
You need
funding.
approval to get it going.
Yes, I need to get it going. I can't wait till July to get this going, so.
What's it going to take to get it going?
It's going to be complete revamping of our system. It's going to be.
Money-wise?
Money-wise, we're looking probably a total of $250,000.
Okay.
And with that, one of the biggest expenses with that is a conversion of all of our data. So you're talking, they've got to go through and convert close to 20 years of data that has to be converted to their system, so at any time we can pull these records up, whether from recently or 20 years ago. That is a big cost in this. The reason I'm looking at this company is they're tried and true. They've been around a long time, and they're actually a lot bigger corporation with this system. It's not going to be going anywhere. The system that we're with right now was pretty much a smaller business, family-owned. When we went into this and we first did it, we were the first ones in the county to go to a robust system like this, which at that time, we had the bells and whistles. But time has kind of outgrown this company. We knew this, and we knew it was going to be coming, but with the death of the owner, it kind of sped things up a little bit and put things in high gear.
So with this new system, this will help keep the police department on track with all their reporting to the state, so we don't fall behind in everything.
Yeah.
It does everything.
Yes.
That we need it to do.
They push everything, which it's a Michigan Incident Crime Reporting System, and those have to be reported to the state. All the stats, the calls, anything that we take, everything is reported to the state. They take care of every bit of that.
Okay.
Which is one of the crucial things. And we've never had a problem with the other vendor up until recently. And I've talked to others, they're experiencing the same problems. So that's kind of where we're sitting. Like I said, we've foreseen this, been putting money away for several years now, knowing that this is going to be something that was coming. So we were prepared for it.
So
It's
the
just
210
when.
I'm sorry, Chief, I didn't mean to cut you
Yep,
off.
no, go ahead.
So the 210,859 is what you need to get up and running. The 26,666 is the reoccurring annual charge. Is that right?
Yes, at this point, well, the 210, that is before the final estimate of our data conversion. It could come in lower, could come in higher. I'm shooting at a high number of 250. I expect it to be lower than that, depending on how much the data conversion is. They don't know that until they actually get in there and find out how long is this going to take, until they actually get into our system. I'm shooting a high number. I don't expect it to be that, but I don't want to be sitting there coming back to the board saying, okay, we're going to need more money.
Sure.
But I do not expect that to get to there. That's why I went a little bit higher on this.
Well, yeah, the 184 is the one-time cost, and the 26,600 is the recurring cost. Is that annual or monthly, or?
That's annual, and
26
we
is
already pay a
Okay.
annual maintenance fee in that right now. So
Okay.
we pay these charges right now.
So the 184 is
Right.
the approximation that could be higher, that's the one-time.
Yes, by the time it's said and
Yeah.
done. I
Okay.
don't anticipate it, but I would rather be ready for it just in case something happens that we're not foreseeing. But like I say, I do not anticipate that.
Any further discussion?
You have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the police department's records management in the amount of $250,000
With Clemis?
with Clemis.
I
Yes.
support.
Roll call?
All right.
Was there a budget line or budget number?
No, there isn't.
It's in his budget, though, he said he's been preparing for it.
I think
Yeah,
he was
it's
waiting to
in our
see
fund
how much he
balance.
was going to get from
Yeah.
IRA before you gave budget lines, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew at the project what we were going to be looking at, but I didn't want to put the cart before the horse. But I'm going to, obviously looking for any other additional funds that I can as we go along. But I'm in a point right now that I've got to get this ball rolling.
Is there any
So-
grants available for that?
Nothing at this time, no. No, we looked at everything, but no, nothing at this time. And I can tell you, one of the reasons why is the state of Michigan, a few years back, started their own records management system. And I'm on a lot of the chiefs' forums and that, and I can tell you, unfortunately, it's like a lot of things that the state does. They get them going, and there's holes all over in it. And that's what's happening there. So you're seeing a lot of people shy away from that. So I think any grants that you're going to see are going to end up going that way, towards the state, so.
Okay, we ready for roll call?
Go ahead.
John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Golka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes.
Right, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. We have a high-tech renewal, line item 101-265-932-22. This is a high-tech renewal plan that we've had for some time, I guess.
I'll make a motion to renew the high-tech quote for $7,498.
So actually, about this, a little I'll second your motion, but it's, what they did is they gave us a bill of two different plan options. One is a one-year plan and one is a three-year plan. And they combined them and gave us that total. We only have to pick one of those plans. I'm going to suggest that we pick the three-year plan, that's what we had previously.
Okay.
And there's only $100 difference in the price. I had to call and verify that with them too, because they combined it.
Yeah.
So is the three-year plan the $54.99?
Yes.
Okay.
And what we paid previously, which I put our old bill in there too, is we paid $54. So they only raised it in 3 years by $99.
Okay, so I'll amend my motion to approve high-tech for the three-year support plan for $5,499.
I'll support.
I have a question on that. Where are we standing with going from Windows 10 to Windows 11 on some of the computers that aren't capable of?
Well, High Tech is our phone company.
Yeah, okay.
That is Advantage Tech,
Oh,
which is our
Advantage Tech.
computers.
Okay.
So that we're working on still. I haven't received their quote yet.
Okay.
All right, we'll do a roll call.
All right, roll call. Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Golka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Next item, 1G, Algonac Sand and Gravel, zoning ordinance section 20.45, farms in a residential zone. We have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve the Algonac Sand and Gravel lawsuit regarding zoning ordinance, section 20.45, farming in a residential zone.
Second? I will second it. We'll have discussion.
So is that, I mean, have we had any correspondence with?
Yes.
We have?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I sent them, well, Roman sent them a letter explaining to them our legal position. I got a response from Al Francis. He's an attorney in Port Huron with the Fletcher Law Firm. I sent back a response to
does he
Mr.
represent
Fletcher. He represents,
Algonac Sand?
yes.
Well, I was just curious, because I didn't know, I have nothing other than this in the packet, and I was
I
like,
thought
we're jumping right
Here's-
to a lawsuit?
Here's our ordinance saying there shall be no intensive
No,
farming.
I'm not disputing that.
Okay, and
I'm
here's,
just, in my packet, alls I have is this farms and residential zones highlighted. I have no correspondence with anybody, so I was curious.
That's all I was
When you
given
said
to
lawsuit, I
upload
was like,
into
we're
the
already going
packet.
to court with these people?
Do we have a hard copy of the
I
law?
think it would make sense to have our attorney make one more attempt to bring them in line. The issue is, they claim they're protected by the Right to Farm Act.
Well, I was going to ask that question.
They're not.
We know that for certain?
I do. I researched it.
Have they,
there's the paperwork on it.
My research tells me that if there are 13 residences within 1/8 of a mile, the right to farm does not apply. And that's, historically with right to farm, back in the 80s, people were moving from the urban areas to rural areas and then complaining, like this gentleman here. Well, they amended it in 2016 and said, wait a minute, we're getting a lot of urban farmers moving into districts, and they shouldn't be able to claim right to farm when really the farmer's causing the problem there. So Roman investigated it, said there are 13 residences within 1/8 of a mile.
So that's the qualifier if there's 13 residents?
Yeah, and we checked that with the Farm Bureau, too.
They have over 75 acres, and you can see
Roman, come on.
they're right
come on up
here.
there,
Yeah, no, I
You know,
I see it.
right on top of these people. It's,
I just
when
didn't
it
know
gets
we were this-
warm out, there's over 100 pigs.
I know, I'm not disputing
Yeah.
it, Maria. I just didn't know we were this far along.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what correspondence had been sent, where we were at. When you said go to court, I was like, I didn't know we were that far along.
Well, I've asked Mr. Addis to also look at it, and I said, would you send them another correspondence so they got their notice? But they did get notice. They gave me a response that I don't think was honest, and then
So you got a response from their legal team?
I
Yes.
got it from Al Francis.
Correct.
Okay.
You
Yep.
have it with you, Roman?
I do. I don't have copies, I just have the originals. So what had happened is we sent a letter out in the end of January, or beginning, maybe middle of January, requesting a meeting with them to understand what they were trying to do to the property with Paul and myself. They did not return a response. When they had responded, it was a week after the expired time. So when that had transpired, we had received some information from them. We wrote another letter to them stating that they're still in violation at this time and must get removed. And what it is with the section with residential, nothing has ever been approved by the Planning Commission. So I believe what I would believe to be a violation would be is they would have to come to the planning board and submit a plan of what they wanted to
Not
do.
if right to farm applies.
Correct.
They don't. But
But-
if it does not apply, they do.
But with what our ordinance states, it also says that, they must be approved by GAMPS and MDARD.
So
They did
MDR,
lose those?
I'm sorry?
They lost that approval from MDRD?
Well, that's what we were requesting.
Oh, okay.
You know,
And they
because that
haven't
would be
provided
part of
that.
the ordinance, and nothing has been provided. So
Okay.
that's when the next state, like I said, with why we want these procedures put in place, is to have a legal notice sent to them. Now that we had done our due diligence as a township, sending a first and final notice, or I shouldn't say final, second notice, would be a legal notice.
Here's a letter from MDR asking them to respond by October 15th of '24. These neighbors have been putting up with this for months.
Okay, so here's my whole issue right here. How come Maureen has this and I don't?
I don't know where she got
They
it.
can't, because the Klingenbergs have been reaching out to me. The Klingenbergs have been reaching out to me as a
Okay, so this
trustee.
is on our agenda, why don't you share it with us?
That was passed out in the previous meeting to everybody here.
They've given us all of this. They have even
Okay, so-
hired an attorney,
So,
so.
Mr. Supervisor, is the dispute right to farm or not right to farm? Is that the whole thing?
Well, that's what I think, I suspect they defend and say we have a right
Okay.
to farm.
That's what they're hanging the whole case on.
I believe so. and-
Gotcha.
And once they respond with
There's no
legal, we
defense to
have to have
what
our
they're
due
doing.
diligence.
So
with our
basically, the
legal team.
lawsuit is going to define whether they can have pigs or they cannot have pigs. Is that right? Just
And
make it
cows.
simple.
And cows.
And cows and
Right,
chickens
right
and
to farm then,
goats
right
and
to farm. So
ducks
so
and.
the lawsuit's going to define whether they can have
To a
farming or
point.
not farming.
To a point, because some of it is on residential and some of it is on industrial. So with what our ordinance states is you have to review only in residential. We don't have nothing in industrial that states that.
Okay, and the farm right now is on residential?
It's on both.
Okay, but, so here's my question, and I'm not an authority on this, but
Correct.
if they do have right to farm, doesn't that supersede local ordinances?
It would.
It
It
would.
does.
Yes.
Okay,
And that's what we had requested, that's
So
the
that-
direction they were going to go.
Okay.
But they could not give us any permits from MDR or from the state stating that.
So they just
To
haven't,
date.
you've requested and they're just not producing the information
Correct.
to us?
Correct.
Okay, so now we're at the next step, which would be to sue, or do we
We can file a
send,
lawsuit,
like,
or we
send
can
another, like,
last
one
notice.
more
I mean, do you
final
feel we have any
attempt?
advantage to an additional notice? or-
Yeah, you know, I do. Don't you agree, Mr. Addis? We should send them another notice?
I don't ever start a lawsuit without sending another notice. And I come in
Okay.
and say, to see if there's any possible way it could be worked out. You can avoid litigation, you avoid it. If you can't, it may take a judge to decide this is a legal question, right to farm or not. And it may take a judge pounding a gavel and making a decision. The fact that they've already contacted this board with a lawyer shows that I think maybe an inclination that maybe they see it that way too. So, but I would send a letter first, sit down and talk, I'm familiar with the lawyer, see if there's anything that can be done. If it can't, then maybe a judge has to decide. But I think all that they're trying to do here is get the authority to move forward in that direction.
Spring is coming, and these people have been patient for months and months, so what is the time period after this notice, if we send it tomorrow, that we have to, that you recommend we give them before we start?
Well, I always think that
2
14
weeks?
days is the minimum you give somebody notice for,
15 days?
14, but 30,
All right.
30 at the most.
Well, I'll make a
14
motion.
days is enough, I think, for a business to respond.
I mean, this is not something that, taking anyone by surprise. I'll make a motion that we send a notice tomorrow, allow them 14 days to meet with us and figure out compliance, if there's anything that we can do, and then if not, we move to hire an attorney and go to court.
Well, I think we ought to just retain Mr. Addis right now to start it, because I...
Okay, I'll amend it to retain Al Addis, since he's familiar to help with the negotiations on the lawsuit if necessary.
I'll second. Any further discussion?
I just feel like I needed more information, that's why I didn't.
You want to do a roll call? We'll do a roll call.
Okay, roll call, Jerry Galka,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes,
Paul Cassidy.
Yes. Motion carried. Number 1H, right-of-way telecommunications permit request for 123 Net LLC.
I'll make a motion to approve the right-of-way permit for the telecommunications, 123.net LLC.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
I think this is a renewal, actually.
What is this? Is it a renewal? What's this all about?
This is, this was sent to us by this 123.net. It's typical. I sent it over to Christine Anderson. She submitted a letter, which was in all of the board packets, kind of explaining it. What it is it's just giving this telecommunications the right of way to work out in this area to bring more technology this way.
I think they have a right to do it, don't they?
Well, we have to give them permission to do work in our right of way so they can clear branches and stuff if they need to, so they're not obstructing things or causing any.
There was actually 4 conditions that Christine recommended that we give approval, but with 4 conditions. So maybe those should be included in the motion.
Yes.
Charging any permit charges for that?
There is a permit charge for it, yes. Hold on, I have to find my letter.
I've got it here if you want me to read them.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. Oh, I got them right here. Okay, so the one that the first condition, let me make sure I'm reading the right ones, hold on. The first condition in the motion, that the name of all contractors and subcontractors involved in the construction, maintenance, and operations of the application facilities and the public right-of-way be supplied to the township prior to the assurance of any permit to contract. That a performance bond in the amount of $100,000 or less, if determined acceptable by the township, be submitted prior to insurance of any permit to construct. That Section 12.1.1 notices be completed and indicated that the township clerk and township supervisor shall receive all required notices from 123.net. And number 4, that Clay Township be named as an additional insured on the policy or insurance.
Is this a cell tower? I mean, what is this 123.net? What do they do? They already have.
Is it like a fiber
They're-
optics line that they're putting in?
They don't really state.
I think it's to install them in the right of way.
Yeah, like it's to install fiber optics in the right of way to do work.
I would like to table this till the next meeting, because I remember in some MTA training, I've got to look up before I'm going to vote on this.
Okay.
And what some of the provisions are when you're doing fiber optics.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to make a motion to table?
I'm
Yes.
surprised we didn't have a.
I make a motion to table.
Give us a presentation on it.
This is all that I was sent, and I sent it over to Christine, and she made that letter, and I presented it. It's been on 2 agendas now.
Well, we do have a motion that we have to vote on was supported, so.
Yes.
So are we still with the motion to table?
Well, we have to do
No.
our first motion first, which
Yeah.
was to approve it, and then we can,
Okay, so,
It's all in favor to approve or something like that.
And in discussion, I would just say that Christine in her letter said she did review it thoroughly and recommend that we approve it with those 4 conditions.
and I think she actually put in there that we pretty much have to do it. you know,
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
meet those conditions.
I did give you guys all the information, the whole packet. It was on 2 agendas.
All right, so all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey guys, just so you know, 123.net is already here. That's who supplies us with anything internet services, all fiber optic, does all our 911, does everything like that. So, just so you guys are aware, they are already here.
They're already here?
Yeah, this is installing new cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
It's pretty standard.
Okay.
Well, we
I thought
already
they were a new
voted.
company coming.
Yes.
We're good.
All right, we got 1I, Resolution 2025-04, Clay Township North Channel Bridge, Road Bridge Multiple Year Deficit Elimination Plan. Resolution, this plan is Well, you've already submitted,
I-
correct?
Okay, we did it the last time, but what I did all the plans that were out there, and they were just looking for the specific plan right here. So we're resubmitting it with just the bridge and the Channel Road, not the other
Who's looking for it?
The
state.
So we tabled this at our last meeting. This resolution says March 24th. Shouldn't that say April 14th?
Yes, I will get that changed. It was supposed to be March 24th.
And then there was a deadline on this, Jerry, you said? Are we okay still on that
Yeah, I
deadline?
talked to the Treasury Department in Michigan.
Okay.
I'm
No
in contact
penalty or
with him. Yeah, he's
late
okay.
fees?
He's okay.
Says as of June 30th, I think, right there. don't know.
I thought you said
Yes.
there was a deadline in March on this.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Yeah.
I will make a motion to approve Resolution 4 of 2025, the Clay Township North Channel Road Bridge Multi-Year Deficit Elimination Plan.
Which will be done next year.
Approve. Or
Yeah,
I second
sure
it.
it'll be paid off.
Second.
Zero
All-
balance.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. 1J, annual appropriations, $14,000.
So these are annual appropriations that the township does every year. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the annual appropriations totaling in $14,000. It'll be $5,000 to library services, coming out of line number 10179099650. $3,000 to Algonac Clay Historical Society, coming out of 10196596401. $3,000 to the Council on Aging, coming out of line number 10196596502. $3,000 to Harson's Island Historical Society, coming out of line number 10196596505.
Support.
Any discussion? All right.
Roll call.
All in favor?
I think we got to do roll call.
It's
don't we?
14,000, so
yeah,
we'll do.
it's
Roll
14.
call, yeah.
We'll do a roll call.
All right, Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Galka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
All right, 1K, CBA removal of Bonnie McInerney. I believe she doesn't want to be on the ZBA anymore, isn't that correct?
She has not attended a meeting in over a year. So there was a request for removal, which is in their bylaws.
All right, anybody make a motion?
I make a motion to remove Bonnie McHenry from the ZBA.
I'll second.
All right, discussion?
What was her term?
Her term ends November of 2025.
November 2020.
And there
Did anyone
is- There
contact
is
you?
another vacancy as well, and we have to fill.
Oh, there is?
Yes, there is one more, and we got to figure out who would,
So we're going to have 2 vacancies on the board?
yes.
Okay, so
So
it
should
is,
we advertise that?
Well, we can,
we can post it on the website,
okay.
definitely.
Are those both alternate positions? Do we know?
No, full-time, and
Oh, they're full-time?
we took item 1L off, and that was to make a decision there. So,
But there's
We don't have to do
there's
it.
2 seats available,
That's
so it's a
right.
board of 7?
Right. It's a board of
7.
7, yeah,
Seven.
planning commission's 9. Okay.
all right,
5 full-timers, 2 alternates.
I think we have motion and support, right?
Yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to 1M, purchase of water meter antennas, $20,500, line item 591746. Mr. Surtee,
Yes, sir.
want to tell us about this?
Looking to continue installing water meters in which the backcountry in Harson's Island needs the antennas in order for it to reach the collectors. So I do need this 400 to continue installing, because otherwise the meters don't work. They do calibrate, but they don't
Well, you can
make it to the collectors.
You can take mine out if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Any?
I'll make a motion to purchase water meter antennas in the amount of $20,500 plus shipping costs from line 591746.
I'll support.
All right, roll call.
Do you know what the shipping costs are, Lane?
No, I do not.
Do they give you a time frame on how quick you'll get these?
They were saying they should be pretty quick. They now have them in Georgia, so I don't have to wait for them to come from Denmark.
Okay.
Okay, roll call. Jerry Galka,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Paul Cassidy.
Yes. All right, motion carried. We, now 1N, Mr. Surdy, this is the meter pits.
Yes, what I'm looking to do is purchase some 5-foot round culvert and a length of 20 foot in order to cut up to raise meter pits that were, when we had high water on Harson's Island, some of these meter pits were under 4 foot of water. And we could read them, but if it was for us to service them, we wouldn't be able to do it. Any meter changing or meter turn-ons or turn-offs or anything like that, we'd have a rough time doing it.
How many do you think you need?
This 20-foot length will actually take care of I think it's 3 or 4 pits that I actually have to raise.
This is a good time to do it with the water down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're still wet, but not to the point they were.
I'll make a motion to approve, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, motion.
I was just going to make a motion to approve the Harson's Island meter pits for $2,567.40 out of line item 591746.
Second.
All right, do a roll call anyway.
Okay, Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Paul Cassidy.
Yes.
Jerry Galka.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
That concludes the agenda, other than public comment. Ma'am, you can come up now if you want.
Sarah Milkey, 9400 Folkert. First and foremost, thank you, Jerry, Woodside, and the rest of the board and community for their hard work at the Easter party at the park. We had a great time. It was a wonderful turnout. My new puppy was a hit. I know I saw Maureen there. I did offer to volunteer after Jerry had asked me to do so on social media, but unfortunately, your volunteer coordinator never contacted me, as you said that they would. So I came here today to ask the leaders of our township to be an example. I sent a message to Jerry about this, hopefully coming to a common ground on Facebook, but I haven't got a response. Change starts with you. If you want people to treat you kindly and with respect, you need to not only show respect, but give the residents a reason to respect you. Whether it be in this boardroom or on social media. With all due respect, Mr. Cassidy, you are here to lead meetings, but this is not your courtroom. As residents, we can request and demand answers, and we will continue to do so when we are repeatedly ignored. Mr. DeBoyer's request to add an agenda item to be discussed transparently, which is something you guys campaigned on, with the township members, because as he and Tanya said, you work for us, was more than appropriate because we all want to know why and how that happened. You are not setting an example of transparency or fostering a positive, kind environment for those of us who live here. It makes me wonder, what is the Clay Township Board hiding? Jerry, I understand that you and Joe Garten do not see eye to eye. I know he can be loud and even at times doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut. But he's an incredibly respected member of our Muskrat community. Our kids love him. To this day, he's at the wrestling room at 6 a.m. wrestling with our up-and-coming wrestlers of the future. If you didn't know, we have a state-winning, amazing wrestling team, and Joe Garten is a very large part of it. Our kids love him, Like I said, he's there at 6 a.m. every day doing training sessions with up-and-coming wrestlers. Disliking someone, agreeing with them, or even feeling disrespected by them as a board member does not mean it's okay to show up at a school board meeting with Eileen Tesh and demand that he be fired as the treasurer of Clay Township. Maybe as a personal resident, you should keep it. Our kids adore him. He is an asset, and your personal feelings towards him should be kept personal. I don't think it's appropriate for you to walk into a school board meeting and announce yourself as a Clay Township treasurer and ask for him to be removed as a coach. Shame on you. Lastly, I was just wondering, John, did you ever receive that treasurer report that you asked for a month ago?
Yes, I did, and I'm going to address it in my board member comments.
Thank you.
At the March 6th meeting, Supervisor Cassidy publicly accused me of misleading people about the board's transparency because I hadn't paid for my Freedom of Information request. But transparency isn't about forcing citizens to pay to see what their government is doing. It's about honesty. And honesty is exactly what the majority of this board has failed to demonstrate. Unbelievably, only minutes after Mr. Cassidy accused me of misleading people about their transparency, this board made a motion and voted on a contract that he signed months ago. A contract that already had expired. A contract that some board members knew was a sham and still participated in deceiving the public. We had Trustee Bory lecturing Mr. DeBoyer on the principles of governance and the importance of respect. But where was her respect for her fellow board members and the public when she helped to stage a fake vote? Where was the integrity when this contract was signed behind closed doors? Respect is not something that can simply be commanded from a title. It's earned through integrity and accountability. Respect is not owed to those who violate public trust. This community is not stupid. You don't get to lecture people about honesty, transparency, or respect while participating in fraud against the very people you serve. The truth always challenges us to change, to grow, and we respond to truth with either humility or with prideful arrogance. When our heart is in a humble state and we hear the truth, we're able to absorb it and change the way we are living our lives. But when our heart is in a prideful state of arrogance, we hear truth and we reject it. We don't want to change our lives. We want to do what we want. Clay Township cannot operate effectively with elected officials who are full of prideful arrogance, who want to do what they want, even when it doesn't serve the very people who elected them. We need to tell the truth and to seek the truth. Truth is the foundation of integrity. Does truth and integrity still matter today? Obviously, not to the majority of our Clay Township elected board members, but what about our prosecutor's office? We want the St. Clair Prosecutor's Office to look the residents of Clay Township in the eye and affirm, yes, the truth matters. No one is above the law. The citizens of this community are engaged, concerned, and paying close attention. We are not asking for special treatment, only for the law to be applied fairly and without exception. We expect transparency, we expect accountability, and we expect our public institutions to reflect the integrity our community deserves. And that contract was fraudulent, the vote was staged, and the handling of ARPA funds was illegal. And as far as using federal ARPA funds for a feasibility study, that ferry has left the dock. However, there is a chance to restore the funds to the water department, thus allowing them a pole barn and to purchase a trailer.
Madam?
I ask each of you directly.
Thank you. Can you have a seat, please?
Yeah, I just do need to have a confirmation. Are you saying that we can't,
Just have a seat, please.
Thank you. I've been out of town for like a year, so I'm glad to be back to see that things are bad. Yeah, I really am, because why I was gone for a year was not good anyway. But you know what? I was really surprised to walk into a board meeting. Where was I? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Sue Torno. And I was out of town because my mother-in-law went in hospice. Okay, so that's where I was gone. Not quite up. I have been watching every monthly meeting on TV, but the best thing that I found when I walked in here today was this. I cannot believe that the people of Clay Township have to have printed out Robert's Rules of Order to understand meeting protocol. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark Coletti. I'm at 1765 South Channel. I sent this email to the Village and the Times-New Herald, so I'm just going to try to read it as fast as possible. I believe there is currently a small group of Clay Township public officials acting as conspirators to circumvent the will of Clay Township residents by forcing a second ferry feasibility study through, despite 80% of Harson's Island full-time residents overwhelmingly rejecting the feasibility study. Furthermore, the two new recent appointments to the Clay Township Planning Commission are solid evidence that this conspiracy is happening. Why else would Harold Bain and Whitey Simon be added to the board? So far, Bain and Simon have voted unanimously on nearly every issue, and that will continue. The Planning Commission has purposely stacked pro-millage Harson's Island residents to its board in order to rubber stamp approve all future second ferry commercial zoning sites. I quote Jackie Smith of the Times-New Herald on her article, Harson's Island voters reject transit tax proposal, and then obviously the board had a special meeting on March 6, 2025 that pushed it through regardless of what 80% of the islanders said. Obviously, we have two members on the board here that are connections to HIDA. My question is, who else in the Planning Commission and on the trustee board have connections with HIDA? As an analogy, if a head coach lost 80% of their games, they would be fired as a head coach. Yet none of the HIDA board members who are volunteers and supposed to represent Harson's Island residents have resigned or even changed their mindset of serving the residents instead of serving their own self-interest. HIDA Chair Harold Bain canceled almost every HIDA meeting last year and has only had one meeting this year. That, by the way, goes against the bylaws. As a pro-millage voter, he is suppressing the voices of 80% of the island residents who rejected a ferry feasibility study. It's safe to assume that Clay Township residents don't really care whether they have a second ferry or not either. So I think it's time that the Harson's Island residents reclaim HIDA, because I have a video, or you can go to December 13th, 2023, where Dennis Szymanski, he threatened the people. You can go to the 52-minute mark. It's on the HIDA website. You can also go on YouTube and look this up. He threatened the people with subtle violence because people were acting up, because he was speaking 50 minutes, reading an anonymous letter. Now, as public people, we only get 3 minutes to talk, but yet we had to listen to this man talk for 50 minutes. Then he blasphemed Jesus. Okay? And then, like I said, he actually admits at the 52-minute mark that he doesn't want to be on the HIDA board, that he was forced to be on it. So between Harold Bain, there's two violations that he made according to the bylaws. He should be asked to resign. And Dennis, if he doesn't want to be there, he should be asked to resign. And like I said, it's time for the residents to reclaim HIDA. Thank you.
Mark Vershave, 739 North Channel. I was unable to attend the last meeting that you were able to have, but I did watch the video, and I just have a couple observations more than anything else. John, if you need answers, you should be entitled to your answers. There's no, any board member should get some questions answered and everything else. With that being said, I didn't know that citizens can come up here on the day of the meeting and change the agenda on their own, which apparently some people are trying to do. I didn't know you could do that. If you can, well, all bets are off. Secondly, I didn't know board members could choose when they wanted to vote or not vote on an item, such as you, John, and you, Tanya. You decided just you weren't going to vote on something. You, not for any political reasons, you just said, no, we're not voting. I didn't know you could do that either. And then some of the comments that some people made in the comments section, stating that, you know, we don't need a new ferry, and I'm not here to discuss whether we need a new ferry or not. That's for somebody else to discuss. but they referred to we needing a school and a health center on the island. There's not that many people on the island that I think we need it. The school was there, it was closed. She claimed that there was 2 houses for sale and the island was doing just fine. There were 16 houses for sale on that particular day that she was talking about. And she said that the businesses in Harson's Island are doing just fine. I think I'd take that up with the businesses that are still there. They're struggling. She also claimed that the ferry was safe. Well, I can tell you on 2 personal occasions, the captain had to come out of the wheelhouse and help the dockhand kick the gate down because it wouldn't automatically come down on itself. 2 separate occasions. Minor incidents, but it's happened twice. He's not here tonight, but he came up here, already came up here and claimed that he just wants answers, he's entitled to answers, and he is. But it's no different from when he was a superintendent. I asked him thousands of questions and never got an answer that time or any time a phone call. And the blight issue. Please, you got to do something with that ferry site. It is depressing. It's gross. I left for Florida. I had made a comment about it before I left for Florida. I came back. I guess there's a couple pieces of equipment moved, but there's a whole lot more garbage there. It's ridiculous that we have to put up with that. And the boys club. Nothing has changed. The blight is the blight, and it just goes on and on and on. And I don't know what Mark was talking about, but Harold Baines is a good guy in my book. I mean, everybody's got their opinion, but Harold Baines and Whitey are 2 good guys. They got the island in their mind all the time. They're looking for avenues to help everybody, not just islanders. So I don't know where Mark was coming from, but, you know, I think they're both pretty good people. Thank you.
My name is Karen Klingberg. I live at 9032 Field Road in the middle of that pig pen, and I cannot believe that, John, you said you didn't know nothing about this. I have sent emails and everything, and I talked to Paul Cassidy in December, and he told me that we didn't need a meeting. He was going to handle this. He was going to send a letter, and now what is it? April, going into May. I have lived next to them pigs for 8 months, and you all knew it, Roman knows it, and Gary knows it. Nobody in this township lives next to animals except for me. Why? Why is my health at risk? Why are we sending another notice when it is in our ordinances that that is not allowed? It is to the environment people. They are never going to allow him to have a farm there. There's too many houses. Are we going to burn down houses, or are we going to zone it as agricultural? Because that's the only way they're going to let him do it. I've talked to the man. So you're going to send another notice? Pig shit smells. Flies are bad. The pigs are from here to that window right there from my house. And we're going to send another notice. That's how you're going to do me after 8 months? Thank you.
Move on to board comments. Mr. Boyer, go ahead. Oh.
I'm Wendy, Harson's Island. At some point, I would like to see the Phase 1 answers, what happened with the Phase 1 study. And then, since HIDA doesn't own that property that you did the first Phase 1 study on anymore, or lease it, or can't buy it anymore, it's no longer available, where are you going to do the second phase? I would, like in the next meeting, I guess you're going to discuss this. I'd like to know the answers to that. But where is OHM doing the work, and who are they working for? Where are they going to do this? And this is just Jerry and the replies to the things. I don't appreciate being told I drink Kool-Aid, and I'm an Artie fan. I don't care what about Artie or anything. I just want the best for this community and want some transparency and some answers. And hopefully, we can get some answers today, next meeting.
My name's Tom Prokowski. I'm a local businessman here in Clay Township. We've run businesses here since 1958. The address of our company is 6625 Dyke Road. I usually don't come to a board meeting just to address something that I've heard about. I don't know if it's factual or not, or if it's just rumor. But I can tell you one thing. I've been a builder here since 1958. My family's been a builder. I've been president of the company since 1970. And I've seen building inspectors come. I've seen them go. And I just want to just put a positive note out for Gary, the building inspector that's here right now. I hear there's rumors that the board is not happy with what he does. And I'm going to tell you right now that you're wrong. He's the best building inspector that I've ever seen here in Clay Township, and probably one of the best I've ever seen in any other township or city I've worked in. He's honest, he's knowledgeable, and he's prompt. If I have a question, all I have to do is pick up the phone. It's handled. He's an asset to the community, and he's an asset to the people that are building here because he takes care of their interest, and there is no right or wrong. It's just right. And I just want a professional, which I believe I am, to come here and make that statement, and I hope you would think that I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. So if there's any kind of discrepancies here, I'm at my office 7 days a week. I'd be happy to talk to you about this situation and clarify anything that you might think is not being handled properly. Thank you.
Karen Straffen, 5007 Point Trumbull. I watch the meetings, and I've made quite a few observations. We all don't have the same wants and desires in the township. Sorry, I don't care about the ferry. I don't go over there, but I understand why people are concerned with that. I don't care, to me, to have spent $290,000 on the property next to the bowling alley. I don't care about that. You know, I'd love to see my ditch be filled in and get rid of the garbage and the Phragmites. But what is good for me isn't good for the rest, and I understand that. But we deserve answers, and I do agree. I don't care about the $140,000. We do agree to, or we should know when the contract was signed, like John had asked. And I do understand, Mr. Cassidy, you were talking about the water lines or the water infrastructure that's failing, and we need $4 million or something. Where is this, and when did this first happen? You know, I think we deserve to know, is that the water in front of our house? Where is it coming from? Instead of just saying, we've got water issues and we need this much money to, what are they? We don't hear anything. But also, and I know this is just public comments, and even in the beginning, but I guess I would be absolutely ecstatic if the board paid attention to what the public is asking, and the next meeting come back with answers. Come back and say, hey, this contract was awarded at such and such, or Karen, these are the water issues that we need $4 million to fix. I do think that the people, including myself, that come up and make comments, we're not just making them to hear ourselves talk. But I think that we are, entitled to know the answers to some of these. And Tanya, I want to thank you. Your comments earlier today were great. I commend you. And I feel that we should know and to turn down having a discussion that was required. That was a shame. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Ron Schwark, Deerbrook Builders. I just want to second what Mr. Pekowski was saying about our building department. I've built houses in this township for 30 years, and having Gary as our building official has been helpful and been a joy. He's always had the best interest of the community. He's always enforced the codes, and I've never gotten a yes answer from him. But I always left him with a solution when I had a problem that I didn't agree with. So I've worked with building inspectors all over southeast Michigan, other building inspectors, whether they're electric or plumbing. We have a good team that we can work with, and they're always looking out for our community. And I think making any changes right now would be a terrible detriment to the building department and our community. Thank you.
If there's no other public comment, we'll go to board comments. Go ahead, Mr. DeBoyer.
So I'd like to thank Sherry Lawton for her years of service as an assessor here in Clay Township. She did a great job. She'll be missed. Good luck to her in the future. Get her new and improved job. I did get a budget report from Jerry. I think it was a few weeks back. But the only issue with it, Jerry, is it's not the current year.
No, both years were on there. Both years were on there.
Would you like me to bring it up right now? It was last year's budget. So I'm requesting you to take
I sent you two budgets. I sent you two emails.
I know you did. And I looked at both of them. So I'm requesting that you send me.
We're still in 24-25.
We're in 24-25, correct. Right. You sent me 23-24.
And 24, they were both on there.
Okay, well, I'll email back to you what you sent me.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there, I guess.
Okay.
So I know the ARPA reporting is due the 30th of April, correct?
Yes.
Will this board get a copy of that report?
Yes.
Okay. And then the rumors that are being addressed tonight on our building inspector, where did those start? Is there any validity to that?
Well, Mr. DeBoyer, they started with a complaint that I investigated and have decided that there should be a continued investigation into the issue. I investigated a complaint that was a detailed complaint, and I decided that we should continue the investigation and get more facts before a decision is made.
Okay. And I'm sure the board will be informed on all of this?
Absolutely.
I mean, that would be a nice change.
I was going to have you meet with us today and discuss it, but that was canceled and not by me. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay. While we're on the rumor mill, the other rumor that's been thrown out is Mr. Campbell has resigned as a trustee. Is there any truth to that?
He hasn't given us a formal resignation, but I believe that he's going to resign. He hasn't given us a formal, I've not received one, but I think he's going to. You'd have to ask him.
Why do you believe that, though?
Well, because I think he has, but he's been vacillating, but I think he wants to resign.
So we don't have anything from him to verify that?
I don't have it, no.
How long do we let him vacillate? I I mean,
How long will you let him?
is he going to come to our
Will you
meeting?
you tell me, how long will you give him?
I would
How
hope-
long?
How long?
Yeah, how long?
I would say that if he misses 3 meetings, that's a big deal.
Joanne Shirkey didn't come for almost a year.
I've asked him to give us
I don't know what that means, Maureen.
She missed a lot of meetings,
I don't
and we
know what
didn't
that means.
replace her.
I don't know what that means.
Listen, I think he'll give me something in another week.
So this is just an example, though, of all the things that go on that some board members know about and some board members don't know about.
And some board members don't talk it and then have to tell you something different and then tell you something different. And each time, Mr. Campbell will let us know when he's made a decision. He's vacillated. You want me to tell you? He said this time, this time. Doesn't matter. Let him make his decision.
Did he turn a resignation in
Not
to you?
me. No.
How do we know this, then?
He told me.
He told you he wants to resign?
He said he thinks he's going to resign. Yep.
Okay. Have we set up any dates for budget workshops?
We have, I believe. Haven't we?
Again, I'd like to be
I asked Tanya to put that on the
Sometimes I just feel like a private plant down
We
here.
need to, I was going to send,
I asked Tanya to put that on the
John?
agenda.
it was on the last
John,
agenda, and then this
Why
one
don't
was.
you call and set up an appointment and come and talk to us, and you might know a few things.
Please.
I'll tell you why.
Oh, wait a minute, please,
Twice a
please.
month.
Jerry,
Please.
we tabled it, if you recall.
I didn't know board
Yes.
comments
I'm
was
talking
board
about
Q and
anything.
A.
Twice a month, that's all we see you.
Okay.
Listen.
let's forget it.
We tabled it because our supervisor wasn't here. We weren't sure who was available when. I haven't heard a peep since. That was over a month ago.
You can reach out, John. You can call people.
This, I will,
And you know what? That goes both ways.
okay, this is my, I forgot to put it
I
on this
didn't get any
agenda because it was so full.
information
It was on the
when
last
Supervisor
agenda.
Bryson Supervisor, and you did.
Did
You
I
did.
justify any of that?
Well, you got a lot of information that I never got, so, you know. I
I'm
would
going to
call
send
and
out
ask
an
for things
email
and I could-
tomorrow and receive dates from everybody, and then I will set a special meeting for
Can we
the
just do
budget
it now,
workshop.
Tanya?
I just think it's important we get going on it because we're running out of time.
Can't we just do it now while we're all here?
Yes, we can.
What do you think?
The earlier the better.
When do you guys, like, after Easter, I think would be,
Well,
thought there was a
I'm
discussion
gone
about
from
the
April
24th.
7th through the,
May
May
7th?
yeah.
You want to do sometime the week of April 28th?
it's fine with me.
You have your schedules, everybody? What's yours look like, John?
Maureen, have you gotten
I can do
from
that.
all the department heads, the
28th or 29th.
budget stuff?
Paul, no, Paul's,
I've got it, except for the water.
How about 10 a.m. on the 29th?
that's a Tuesday, that's good for me.
All right.
Does that work for you, Mark?
Budget workshop.
10 a.m. on the 29th? Budget
Maybe after
workshop?
our next meeting.
I'm not sure. I'll have to check.
I'll email you and get confirmation.
April 29th, you said?
Yes.
So I just, 2 more things and then I'm done. I really don't appreciate being accused of grandstanding when I'm asking questions. That's all I'm doing, okay?
Okay.
I'm not grandstanding. I think I'm entitled as a trustee to ask those questions. That's all I'm trying to do. And the other thing I have is everybody have a blessed Easter.
Somebody's airplane mode. Who'd you got?
You know what? I wonder if it's fun. Probably was. Maureen, do you have anything?
Well, again, board comments are not board questions, I think. You know, you can contact the supervisor, and I'm sure he's happy to share all of this information at a meeting, but to be blindsided and asked to share all these numbers and all these happenings without being able to provide the documents, I think that's unacceptable.
Blindsided?
This is my board
Giving a
comment.
contract that says,
This-
unsigned
this-
contract that says it was not agreed upon until March the 6th and it was
This is
signed on
this
December
is
30th? That's blindsided.
This is my board comment time, John.
Well, I interrupted you, sorry.
Again, it's disrespectful.
Of course.
I did not interrupt you. So, I want to wish Sherry the best of luck and congratulate Bonnie. That was, she's well-deserved. Please, if anyone in the community wants to serve on the ZBA, please come forward and let us know. I want to just ask the community to pray for our firefighter DeWicki, that he's recently become on Chief Rose's team, and he joined the National Guard and is going to be deployed to Iraq for over a year. So maybe say a prayer for their family and for firefighter DeWicki, and happy Easter, everyone.
Okay, my turn. Congratulations to Olivia. I hope she didn't quit because I seen her run out here.
Me too.
Short term here. And congratulations to Bonnie and Cher. Just a note, you're talking about the building department and some of the issues that they had there. I spoke with Gary and the other gentleman, Greg, and as you did your investigation, I did mine. And I think I was a little bit more thorough. And I actually pointed questions to them about this issue. And there is no doubt in my mind that none of this happened. Okay, just to see that, and I'll share that with you at a later date. But nothing happened, and I think it should be a dead issue at this point in time.
Jerry, anything to add?
Sherry, I just want to say it was good working for you. I wish you best, and Bonnie, I'm looking forward to your new position and working with you in the future in the Treasury Department and Assessing Department.
Okay, so I want to wish Sherry the best of luck, and we're very excited to still continue to work with Bonnie. It also came to my attention that it's like Telecommunications Week, so I want to thank all of our dispatchers for all they do. And then addressing the water issues, I know there were some questions. We have had quite a few water main breaks since December 12th, and our pipes are starting to corrode. So that is why we are looking into doing these projects to prevent all the breaks and try and replace the stuff that is corroding to help us have a functioning water system. And I hope everybody has a happy Easter.
Just to answer that young lady's questions about the water and sewer, they can't just pick a spot and say, oh, we'll fix that spot or this spot or that spot. There's problems through the system everywhere. Some are serious, some are not. There's only one method of fixing them. It doesn't matter whether it's in front of your house or my house or whoever's house. It's still these are trunk lines that have to be repaired, and it's just going to cost money. And it's not like we can say, oh, let's just do those 10 feet there or that 12 feet there. I've looked at the engineering on it. I've looked at the numbers. I do know that, the sewer line, I just hope we can do it with a special assessment, that it would be paid by those areas that will be using it. That may not be the case. But I know this young lady, she doesn't care about the ferry or anything. Listen, like it or not, there's different ways you can look at things. You can look at it as, if I live on the mainland and I don't care about the island, if they got problems, let them take care of them. And vice versa. Or we could all say we're one township, and problems in that area and problems in our area have to be shared by everybody. That's the way you can look at it. I'm not telling you how to do it. And as far as Mark with his claim of nobody wants a second ferry, well, I've got hundreds of signatures by people wanting a second ferry, hundreds of them. I didn't just sit down and write them out myself. People want a second ferry, and some people don't. That's it. So, please, everybody have a nice holiday. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
So our next meeting is April 28th at 6 p.m. here. And did we do a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I second it.
Okay.